the bidet has Perna confused.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine you're spending less time wiping, so maybe you're getting in there and you're like, well, I'm done in 25 minutes. What do I do with this extra 45 I have?
Yeah, I've been so much more productive.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's a 70-minute, bathroom visit. And
Yes.
after cutting down to 25, like you just got you could do activities in there. You can, read a magazine, read a book, even.
I don't even have to shower anymore.
I Oh, baby. We here.
We still.
You're in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. And this is GP. Yes. Nailed it. Look at that, Brandon Perna. We got breaking news that came in last night. To start the show. We got lots to talk about. Kirk Cousins has been benched by the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons fans rejoice because Penix is in, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, he is all the way in.
When everybody gets a big dose of Penix coming in, they're going to be happy about it. And that's where not just Falcons fans, but I would say everybody in the state of Georgia today is feeling the insertion of Michael Penix.
I mean, this is not the biggest surprise, but oh boy. I mean, just the way that Kirk Cousins has been playing, it has been a rough time. And that offense just does not look good. And I think there's a litany of reasons, right? Because you have Cousins coming off a major injury, does not look the same. But I mean, the amount of articles that have been published these past couple of weeks are just like, he's lost his confidence, he's lost a step, and bam, bam. And at the end of the day, like, it's just not a great situation for the Falcons. I mean, you had everybody and their mother clowning on the Falcons for drafting Penix, which we're still kind of doing because, again, at the end of the day, like, you still paid Kirk Cousins all of this money. So if Penix works out, then they did a nice job going, okay, we're not completely screwed, but you still wasted all this money on Cousins, who's now going to be sitting on the bench.
Yeah. Let's just say they overpaid for an insurance policy. That's a
good call.
That's what the Falcons did. And yes, being concerned about a 37-year-old quarterback, is that how old Cousins is, coming off a major injury? I think even as we were roasting the Falcons, we said
36.
Now, if Cousins sucks, then this will be looked at a little bit differently. It still felt dumb though, because if you're gonna pay Kirk Cousins that money, you've got to believe in him for the next season or two, not as a fucking stopgap bridge quarterback, but as like a guy who can take you to the playoffs. That's why they paid him $100 million, and then they're like, oh, maybe we should have another quarterback we like too.
Yeah.
So in the long run, it'll be better. And now the fun part is we get to watch Michael Penix play for a couple games
in prime time, because they just flexed the Falcons into prime time
against Jaden Daniels. So it's a rookie to rookie comparison there. And then it's also low stakes for Penix because obviously the Falcons are still in the mix. So if he goes out there and he plays well, and we see something from their offense that we haven't seen the last few weeks, and
Ghost,
just work it in the basement. He plays well, and if they're competing for a playoff spot, in the final week, that's great.
Sure.
If he just looks good and they're losing and they're out of it, that's fine too. At least Falcons fans have something. They have some optimism going forward.
Yeah.
And if he's not good, be like, he only got 3 games. So really, you can convince yourself this is a good scenario.
You're coming out on top either way. And then you could just draft a quarterback again if you're the Falcons in the next draft. Oh, he hasn't hit 1,000 yards yet, like Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Maybe it's okay. So it takes some people a little bit longer.
Yeah.
A little bit longer. Perna got a 50. But yes, to your point, I mean, it's great that we get to take a look and see like what Penix can do. But at the same time, I think that the fact that they're still in the mix in a winnable division. Yes, the Buccaneers looked amazing this past weekend. But the Falcons swept them, right? Like the Falcons swept the Buccaneers. They're still in the mix for the South. And yet you're still benching your quarterback for a rookie. Like that just, I think, shows how dire the situation is with Kirk Cousins. And again, if you have had the blessing of not having to watch Falcons games for the past like month and a half or two, he's bad. Like things are that offense is anemic. Like it is not good.
What?
And it's night and day from where we saw earlier in the season.
What was the Raiders game last year that got McDaniels fired? Who did they lose to in prime?
Chargers Thursday night, right?
Was it Chargers that they lost to?
When they scored like 60 points, that wasn't McDaniels, right? I don't remember what, because I know
the Raiders
got fired
on the Chargers.
Haley got fired around there. I'm mixing up my AFC West fired
Raiders.
I just did it on a Raiders fan reaction a few months ago.
Was it the Lions? Yeah. Okay. Well, they got embarrassed by the Lions, which in hindsight looks not as bad as it should have felt.
Staley.
I thought it was the Lions, but I was like, no, the Lions are good. It wouldn't have been that embarrassing to lose to the Lions, but the Lions are new good. The Falcons, even though they beat the Raiders, the way they played that game, like that's why they were forced to make a decision on Cousins, because the Raiders are not a good football team. They have the number 1 pick in the draft, and Kirk Cousins couldn't lead. They scored 15 points. So like, and without Max Crosby, the Raiders didn't even have their best player on the field.
Nope.
And the Falcons offense still looked anemic outside of Bijan, who had like 100 rushing yards, but like, and Kirk Cousins' touchdown pass, his first TD since November 3rd, was not impressive.
No.
Drake London was wide. He was so open, and good for Kirk for hitting him. And it sucks because I think most people like Kirk Cousins. He's not like he's not a bad quarterback who has lost favor with people. It's just he's played so poorly, like you can't defend it
anymore. Yeah.
For a guy at his level, for the level we've seen him play at, and he's never been like. I would love to hear Ryan Fitzpatrick's ranking of Kirk Cousins, because he just gave a dose of reality to Justin Herbert and where he should be in quarterback power rankings. He said he's a top 10 quarterback, but he can never put him in top 5. And I think Cousins always been in that like 10-ish area. Moves up to like 7 when he's playing really well, drops back to like 14, 15 when he's playing poorly. He's bottom 30, 29 this year.
Yeah, he's just not playing well. And again, I think there's a bunch of reasons for it. I mean, if there is a team that looks like a genius after this, it is the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, the Vikings making the decision not to pay Kirk Cousins and to go and get their, JJ McCarthy, who they hope is going to be the QB of the future, and also Sam Darnold playing though as well as he is. Like they're contending for the number 1 seed in the NFC. And I don't think anybody was talking about the Falcons like they were going to be world enders this year. But I think a lot of us assumed that they were at least going to be like vying for a playoff spot.
Yeah, good
chance to win the division. And oh boy, man. And again, we'll see how Penix plays, but dude, like that's a pretty significant fall off. I got you.
Thank you, Stefan.
Let's go.
I'm glad you like it.
That's it.
I'm glad you like that curse.
You want the
Hey, I had to test it. Get out of here.
That might just be a clip now, Tom.
That's just a clip. Hey,
good morning.
Go Pack, go. Let's do it.
What else was I going to say about this?
You're going to cry a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel bad for I don't feel bad for Cousins because
I mean, I made all that money.
He's made $380 million. And I think it's his own fault in a way. I think the Vikings might have taken him back if he would have not wanted another $100 fucking million.
Well, you wrote in there too how much he's made this year, right? So there you go. He's made over $62 million so far this year. If they want to cut him, it's got to be post June 1st. They're still going to wind up paying him. It's like close to like 28 mil.
Yeah. So 27.5 million next year if they cut him. Oh yeah. I'll get to that in a second.
Excellent.
But he made 62.5 million this year. So basically 90 million is what he's going to take away from Atlanta, even if they cut him next year. And then let me see if I can get this tweet here. Because this is the part of it that I find interesting in terms of what is Cousins gonna do. I think it's Ari put out this tweet. So he's got the no trade clause in there, right? See that more and more with quarterbacks we're seeing it more and more from quarterbacks who are getting paid way too much to do nothing. He references Derek Carr. Ain't done shit for the Saints, by the way.
Yeah.
I would start taking that no trade clause out of there if I were a GM. I'm going to play some hardball with these quarterbacks. But will Kirk be negotiable with the Falcons? I don't think he will be.
Well, I mean, it's also going to depend if Kirk Cousins is going to play football again. You know, like whether it's just he needs more time to get healthier and like come back and actually play. And again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what's going on with Kirk Cousins, but I just don't know if the guy's going to come back and even play football.
Yeah, but if he forces the Falcons to just release him and makes him eat all that money, knowing he'll have 27.5 million and he can do the Russell Wilson experience this following season.
Yep.
I'm just interested to see how he handles this moving forward.
Like
one thing he's never bargained with is his money.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been a hard ass with it from the time he signed that first 3-year deal with the Vikings that was fully guaranteed.
Yep. Oh, trust me, I remember. And then he got re-upped. And I think that's what I mean too. Like he's gotten paid this much money already. If he knows that he's done, but again, we don't know where his mindset is at. Yeah. I'm curious because again, if you're the Falcons, do you just rock with Cousins then as a glorified backup that you're going to pay next year? I mean, they haven't.
It would be hilarious if he goes to the Steelers, Tom. He links up with Arthur Smith. He plays on the vet minimum. And he assumes the Russell Wilson role. Maybe this is the Steelers' new game plan moving forward. They're like, every year, there's going to be an aging vet we can put into our system with our good defense, and we're going to be all right. Yeah.
I think, because the Cousins they have an out for Cousins after 2025. So after the 25-26 season, they could cut him maybe 35 million dead cap. Yeah. Next year his cap hit is 40 mil. So that the 25 mil is if they cut him after this year. I think they're gonna have to, because the cap hit. I'll show because I have this pulled up right now instead of just talking about it. This they're in this weird situation because right now, it's all just gonna go up from here. So his cap hit right now is the 25 mil, right? That goes to 40 and at 57.5. So maybe they do just move on. And again, it's just not a good situation for the Falcons. And again, even if Penix winds up being the guy, they're not going to care ultimately in a few years when this all gets, washed out and it doesn't matter anymore. But as of right now, if you're trying to contend, it might be a little problematic. Going to have a little bit less money to spend because you spent it on an aging QB. So that's pretty tough. I got the Embody, but I highly recommend. I love this chair. Highly, highly recommend go to a place that sells them because there's a lot of money for a chair. Find out which one your butt likes and which one your back likes. My buddy got one too, but it was like the Arrow. So highly recommend going to test them out yourselves.
The Arrow.
Or it's worth it. It's worth it. Sorry, continue. Talking about chairs. Chair. I mean, if you're the Falcons, what do you do with Kirk Cousins? Do you just release him after this year and go, well, that was a complete failure. We paid him a whole bunch of money and then move on?
Yeah. I mean, having Cousins as your backup, if he's willing to be in that role next year, isn't a horrible thing because, yeah, who cares though? But you're going to have to pay another guy, right? They're going to have to pay another backup. So
not for that much money, though.
No, not that much money.
Yeah.
But like, what's their out? Was that 2026 was their out year?
Yeah, so 25 so after the 25 season, so after next season.
Then you move on him from your planned out year with him. But a guy at Kirk's level, and we saw it with Joe Flacco late in his career, they might not be ready to accept that role.
Sure.
You know, when Flacco came to Denver, his famous quote was like, "I'm not here to mentor anybody." Like,
sure.
You know what I mean? So it depends on what Kirk wants to do. If he wants to be part of that team as like a safety net, if Penix misses a game, even though I don't know what you're getting out of Cousins, then fine. Like, let him stay there and then move on after next season. But
Kirk is going to have to pay the Falcons to be on that team. Like, that's how they're going to renegotiate. The Falcons be like, no, you pay us. Then you can stay on this football team.
No. Teddy Bridgewater wants to come back to the NFL.
Hey, he just won right as a coach. He won a championship. That's pretty dope.
And now he said he's ready to make his NFL comeback. And I said, bring him back to Denver as a backup, right? No Sean Payton's offense. Basically played his best football with Sean Payton.
Okay.
I don't know what the Broncos actually have in a backup in terms of Stidham or Zach Wilson. And players love Teddy. Players love Teddy. Sure. We saw Teddy play some good football for the Broncos. And I know some people are like, no, why would you do that? I think Teddy would be a great backup quarterback to have. And you want your quarterback to know the offense, and Teddy does. And if next season we had, Nix, Teddy, and we brought back Zach Wilson, that's kind of what I want. I want that situation. No offense to Jared Stidham. I think he's too handsome to be our backup quarterback. Just too good looking.
You think it's like an intimidation thing? Like any, you don't want Bo Nix to feel like self-conscious kind of thing, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You just don't want your backup to be that hot. That's what I'm saying.
I'm okay, but is there a competitive edge maybe that if he's on the sideline looking great, maybe the opposing team gets a little distracted?
I think he's always just got his head turned to the fans and is talking to women.
Getting numbers.
Yeah.
I'm getting digits. That happens. That's a tough time. But yeah, so this is what D said too. Yeah, this will actually be fun because when they flexed that in, I was like, oh God, I have to see the Falcons on primetime again. Now it becomes at least a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. We get to see a new.
That was my exact thought. I was like, why the fuck they flexed this game in?
Well, dude, because that week is also Vikings and Packers. Like it's earlier in the day, and I was like, why is this not being flexed? But the Packers have 4 primetime games in a row, so they probably don't want to put them there. And depending on what happens week 18, you might see Lions Vikings as that Sunday night football game as they flex it in there. So
yeah, it was like processing. It was like going through the stages of grief. I was like, why the hell did they do this? That's stupid. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I guess the Falcons technically still have a chance. We've already written them off. Technically they have a chance. And Washington definitely fighting for their playoffs. I was like, okay, I get it. And then it's like Cousins bench. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, you get a good matchup there. Even if it's not a good matchup, it's a good story.
Fair. I might lean Swift. I just don't like anybody against this Philadelphia defense.
Oh yeah,
I love Brian Robinson, but yeah, I might.
Yeah.
Moving on from Purdy, I don't think so. I don't. Again, I think that maybe he doesn't. Maybe they don't give him $60 million. But that's going to depend on the market. I mean, you gave Dak Prescott $60 million. I don't.
You know who liked Kirk Cousins a lot? Kyle Shanahan.
There you go.
Could he spend a year as a backup with the Niners behind Purdy? Does Jerry? I know Xavier Legette definitely eats raccoons because he said he eats raccoons on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast. Did you see that clip of Xavier?
No.
Oh, it's like they asked him what his hottest food take was. He's like, I eat raccoons. And they're both like, what?
Huh.
He's like, yeah, like the ones you see in the dumpster. Was his exact words. And he's like, yeah, we still hunt them. And I see why everybody loves Xavier. Like, I hope he turns out to be really, really fucking good. But yeah, you talked about it. It was so funny.
There you go. Love it. That Staley was the one who got fired. Thank you. Yes, I know. Like one of them got fired for that game. I just remember because again, like you had multiple AFC West coaches that were fired, and I was like, which one?
It's hard to keep track. And that's the game too, where there's the screenshot of Austin Eckler doing the first down signal.
Yeah,
when they're losing like 60-7. Yep. I saw that like on Twitter just like 2 days ago.
Part I got a fitting. Hey, let's go, baby! Steve. Bucks in 6. Won the NBA Cup. Suck it, casuals.
Yeah, usually for the 40, we do the 40 clip, but since it's basketball.
Oh, you fat with a 3. Yes, I just said that. That is that man's name. Don't tweet at me.
Those announcer laughs are too good.
They're just too darn good. They're too good. There you go. Hey, listen, Bucks coming for the real thing now. Let's get it. Let's get it. In other news, speaking of benching, so Winston is essentially bench, so DTR is going to start. So,
yeah,
I think, first of all, Cleveland Browns fans, I'm saying just sorry, just a blanket statement, just for,
I'm sorry to all of them except the ones who were excited for Watson.
Oh yeah,
they can put out the dude on the massage table with the erection. Like fuck those guys. But all you other Cleveland Browns fans, yes, sympathy.
For you paying fully guaranteed money to Deshaun Watson, to now Jameis Winston getting benched, you're throwing in DTR again, and I feel like this happens every year. It's like, oh, well, let's see what DTR can do. And he goes and he has some flashes, and you're like, okay, but it's not sustainable. And you just come to the same conclusion again. And Baker Mayfield just threw 4 touchdowns against one of the best defenses in the league. And it is a gut punch after gut punch to be a Cleveland Browns fan.
Yeah.
That's brutal. Oh, and happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Inject chicken. Hey, where have you been? It's been a while, Inject chicken.
Been a while. You know what? That should be, yes, the Giants should. Nobody is gonna take a shot for that kind of money on Kirk Cousins. Like, he's gonna have to get released.
He's gonna play on the minimum. He's gonna get released. He's gonna play for $1 point whatever million, and it's gonna be the 49ers. He's gonna be backing up Brock Purdy. Here's my prediction. I do want him to go to the Steelers, though. Where does fucking Justin Fields land next year? Where does Russell Wilson land? Where does Kirk Cousins land? Those are all big names. I don't know how good any of those quarterbacks are. But it's going to be interesting. And Sam Darnold, you got 4 guys. We don't know what team they're going to be playing for next season.
Excuse me. What about Daniel Jones? Okay. Like on the Vikings, sure. But when is he going to make his resurgence?
He might just be the successor to Darnold. He just might be their new backup. I do love that Cock thinks he can fix any quarterback. KOC, back. I'm back to calling him Cock, Tom. I do like that Kevin O'Connell is the new quarterback whisperer.
What choice do they have, Edward? They gotta pay him regardless.
Prison. They've got to frame him or just actually get a charge to stick.
What do you like? Again, there's 0 options. Cut him, still getting paid all that money. Keep him, still starting all that money. Start him, still, like it doesn't. The Browns.
I would cut him because I don't think he brings anything to your team. He's not a locker room guy. He's not even allowed in the training room, Tom. He can't be left alone to get physical therapy done. Just cut him, eat it. You're not better with him on your roster. He's not even a good backup option. This is just ownership not willing to admit how badly they fucked up.
Yeah, well, you know what? Oh, well. Like that, the sympathy for the Browns front office is non-existent. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Tyreek Hill, it's time for me to go, coach. Because
Okay.
as the Dolphins, they lost against the Texans, playoff hopes pretty much gone.
What do you want, Tyreek? You want to get released so you can go sign with the Chiefs and win again? Maybe you shouldn't have gotten so greedy and stayed where the situation was perfect for you.
Del Monte,
idiot.
Soon, my friend. Get it. I hope things
man.
work out. Let's go. Let's go.
If you need a recommendation, ask Tom, because
I
cannot write you one. I do not write good recommendations.
I'll just lie. I mean, like, that's the best part. If you need like a reference or anything like that, they're not gonna not believe me. I mean, it's right. It's like, oh, that guy raised $1 million for charity, fan of the year. Yeah, I'll say you were at NASA. You helped land on the moon. Whatever. It's fine. That's fine.
If I'm the Dolphins, can they trade Tyreek this offseason? Where's his contract?
Hold on. Tom Grossi will pull it up. Oh, Jerry Jones says he eats them too on Radio Monday.
Oh, nice. There you go, Jerry. Dude, I had a raccoon in my backyard last night. Went out there, made some noise to scare that guy away. It came back at 2 a.m.
Oh, boy.
You signed an extension, right? Before the season?
Yeah, that's why I'm pulling this up and I'm just sighing because... Oh, Lord. Okay. So, yeah, he's on the first year of his new contract again.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal. Would be $72 million in dead cap. His cap hit jumps up to $28.6 million. And then they have an out, same thing, at the end of the 25 season.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be paying him because there's voided years after that. But yeah, that's tough. That's a tough contract to finagle yourself out of. So
yeah, so it'd have to be a trade. It has to be a team willing to take on the contract. That's good. The Dolphins won't trade him back to the Chiefs, so that's fine with me. I don't know where Tyreek goes.
I mean, there's plenty. I mean, I think if you're not that you
Panthers, trade him to the Panthers.
Patriots. Like, I know it's a division. It's a division rival, so that's the only reason why the Dolphins might not do it. But
dude, trade him to the Broncos. Miami. What the money?
Oh
my God. We can beat the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill.
You'd be so happy.
I don't know. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I don't know. I think Tyreek's losing a step, though. I think he's kind of losing a step.
He's going to find this, and he's going to come after you.
Yeah.
You have to have a short off.
I think and don't get me wrong, he's still good. He's still very fast. But I don't think he's the fastest guy in the league anymore.
Purple, I think a lot of us are anticipating it's going to crash. I'm trying to hold out hope that it's not going to.
I think it's going to be fine.
I think it's just going to be, it's probably going to buffer a bit, but I don't think it's
what was the Jake Paul fight? They had 61 million people watching that?
Amount of people in there, yeah.
Like, at best, I believe it would be like 40 million people trying to watch the football games. And I mean, because 40 million, that would probably be like the most viewed games of the season by a good chunk. So, and I got roasted for saying like, there's probably more people trying to watch this Jake Paul fight than is going to watch, the football games on Christmas.
Isn't it like the most watched like sporting event? Like, it was insane.
It was insane. So I think it'll be okay. I think that was a good. They're like, okay, we got to add some more servers or whatever. Yeah, wait, go back to that. What was it about embracing the tank?
I got you. You're saying that's props to the Broncos there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, the Broncos have overperformed.
Oh, yeah.
That's clear. And I get there's a lot of fans who are, taking their victory laps right now because, again, Pro Football Focus gave them the worst roster heading into the season, which was stupid. But they weren't in terms of like, if you're ranking rosters going into the season, there were way more question marks on our team than most. Now, I made a video defending that they didn't have the worst roster. And my take was like, they're probably 24, 25. So it's, a difference of 7 spots or whatever.
Yeah.
But a bunch of things happened since then. Sean Payton is a good football coach. You may not love Sean Payton.
Sure.
You may be a little annoying, but football, good. His team likes him. We didn't expect Bo Nix to play as well as he did. Also, the Broncos have benefited from playing the NFC South, swept them. And this thing about the schedule, I see it brought up so often for every team. It's like, oh, they haven't played anybody. That's everybody this year. There's teams who are winning, and then there's teams who are dog shit. There's not a lot of middle of the road teams this year.
Yeah.
And why I think the NFL hasn't felt quite as interesting is there haven't been as many upsets. A good team plays the Jags, they win. A good team plays the Falcons, they win.
Sure.
So, yes, the Broncos have benefited from, I think, a favorable schedule this year. But then, our defense, we knew Pat Surtain was the dude. Question mark, Riley Moss, would he be good? Turns out he's good.
Turns out, yes.
Edge was a huge question mark for us. We had Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, Baron Browning, and basically what I said was these are all guys Broncos fans like, but we need somebody to step up.
Yeah.
Because we don't have an elite edge rusher. And now Nick Bonito is one of the best freaking edge rushers in the league. So a lot of things happened in our favor that you couldn't really predict. And yes, now it is awesome. Now we need to beat the Chargers because the one thing the Broncos haven't done this year is beat good teams. We've been competitive against the Chiefs. We played the Steelers week 2. We were competitive in that game. The Ravens beat the fuck out of us. I'll give them that. That was the one that, no matter how I look at them, they were just better. Mm-hmm. So if we can beat the Chargers and even the Bengals next week, then, Tom,
that Bengals could be a tough game.
Be unbearable. Then I'm going to be a little confident, a little cocky.
Well, the good thing about the Broncos is they have to play the Chargers on a short week too. In terms of they don't have J.K. Dobbins. They're just coming off a big loss. They're talking about the Chargers. Yeah. Because you win and you're in, for tomorrow night. And I feel like with the Bengals coming up, with the Chiefs coming up, those are not gimmies. And I feel like if you're able to just punch your ticket now, then it's I don't care what happens the rest of the season because you got to the playoffs, you made it there, and there's no guarantee that you're going to clinch it in these next few weeks. So,
and the shitty part about playing the Bengals in 2 weeks is basically for the Bengals to get in, they need the Broncos or the Chargers to lose out. So if the Broncos win, it doesn't really affect how the Bengals approach it. If the Chargers win, it doesn't really affect how the Bengals approach it. It's a must-win game for Cincinnati. Yeah. So we're going to get the best of Cincinnati, and they have an offense that scares me, just like the Ravens did. Luckily, Riley Moss was in walkthroughs this week. He might be ready to play, but also I think we figured out our rookie, Chris Abrams-Drain, significantly better than Levi Wallace. So we fixed the glaring hole.
Sure.
And now it's just let's see what we do against the Chargers. I'm not worried about the Chargers just running away with this game.
Yeah.
They're not as good as I thought they were earlier in the season. They haven't gotten better. They've kind of just stayed at this level. It's going to be a tough game.
They're a different team without
definitely going to win it, but I'm not worried about them the way I thought I might be at this point in the season.
I think without J.K. Dobbins, we've now seen for 3 weeks, just I love Gus the Bus Edwards, but it's just the run game is so non-existent.
Yeah.
And then when the defense on the field a lot, it could be problematic, like you saw on Sunday. So I feel again, you're just catching them at a really good time. It is a divisional game. I would not be surprised if it's a super low scoring game. But I think this is probably, I'd be afraid of the Bengals, just their offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, they're terrifying.
The offense is okay, yeah, that's a problem.
Dude, Pat Surtain on Jamar Chase, I am ready for that matchup.
Oh my God. So I texted you earlier this week because I was like, hey, the Broncos might get flexed to primetime on that Saturday game. And they put the Cardinals Rams, which should still be a pretty solid game. But man, I actually really want to see the Broncos and Bengals in primetime because I thought that'd be a great football game.
Yeah. I mean, they're still in Saturday. It's just the afternoon slot in Saturday. So it's a they're a solo game, which is nice.
K-Chan. Have a great day.
But yeah, let's just beat the Chargers. It's the most important game the Broncos have played since last week.
Yeah,
but
that's. But again, dude, the relief that you will feel if you wind up winning tomorrow, and then you don't have to worry about the rest of the regular season, and not have to worry about those games. Like, my dude, you are in.
And for seeding, this is the difference. Like, between playing the Bills or possibly the Chiefs in the first round of the playoffs versus the Steelers or Ravens or Texans, depending on how everything shakes out. And I've been saying it the last 2 months. Give me the GD Steelers in the wild card round. If the NFL wants the ratings,
families,
referees, you better be on the Broncos side on Thursday night. Make a coffee called Praise the Refs.
Remember when you said that you thought there'd be a lot of ref shenanigans in the Broncos game, and it was just Jonathan Taylor fumbling at the goal line?
I did. They didn't even have to get involved because the Colts are so self-destructive.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah.
Seahawks fan, do the Rams win the division? That's a great question, because looking at the Rams schedule, they got the Jets next, the Cardinals, and then the Seahawks, right? So there's some tough games in there. The Seahawks have the Vikings, the Bears in Chicago. I think they should be able to win that, but it's in Chicago. And then they finish with the Rams. So it might come down to that Week 18 matchup, because I could see the Rams losing another game. I could see it. And again, it might just come down to Seahawks, Rams. Whoever wins wins the division. So again, like that game is still floating, I think, right now for getting flexed into Sunday Night Football Week 18. But I got to say, where's Geno Smith at? That's what I want to know. I didn't get a chance to look yet.
Hell. He's in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the Seahawks are that good. I think the Rams are the best team in that division.
I get good news.
Win the division.
Okay.
Is he going to play? Like, what was his knee injury? Did they diagnose
it? Says it's I knew about the structurally intact, but it said they got positive news about it. So I don't know if he's going to wind up playing.
It's probably a sprain, is what I'm guessing. Then.
Yeah. I think it's a matter of
Hill already has 10 kids. Mustard.
Hey, we're getting that football team together.
Yeah,
getting that football team. Him and Phillip Rivers. That's what the Pro Bowl should be.
Yeah,
that's what it should.
Them QBing all their children against each other.
Yep. I think so. Team
for Penix.
Yeah, I'd lean the Rams though. I think I'm leaning Rams just because I believe in them a little bit more. I believe in that offense a little bit more. And while like the Seahawks defense is still playing well, they struggled a little bit against the Packers on Sunday night. But I just don't trust the offense. I don't trust that offensive line. Like, again, Packers pass rush has been getting better, but if we get in 7 sacks on you, oof. Listen, oof. So, same. Same.
Oh, I got to watch the Rodgers documentary is live. I got to watch it.
I heard. I'll wait until I'm punished.
I saw his clip from McAfee, and
I did too.
He's so annoying. Aaron Rodgers is so annoying now. I just want him to be funny again. He's not.
Yep. I mean, yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm not surprised. With the way the defense has been playing this year, I'm not surprised at all. There's no 4,000-yard quarterbacks. I mean, there's folks that are pretty close, right? All right, the NFL passing leaders. Hold on.
NFL QB stats. Where are they at? Stafford is leading?
Yeah, no, Joe Burrow is 23 yards away. I think I'm not terribly surprised.
We'll probably have 3 4,000-yard passers by the end of the season. We got Burrow will hit it. I think Goff will hit it. And Baker will hit it. Lamar's at 3,500. He could hit it. Sam
Geno
Darnold
Smith might hit it, depending on if he plays. He's at 36-23 right now. So there's very possible.
And they're going to hit it within the normal, 16-game frame.
Yeah.
I
don't know who this super chat is to. Are you going to stream the Raiders and Jaguars game? I would rather set my eyes on fire. So if that was to me, if it's
Benny.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Sorry, Benny. Oh, but Benny.
Stream the end of the Falcons Raiders game. So, hey, there you go, Wyatt. There you go.
Nice.
Before we preview this Thursday night game, I need to ask you the most important question. So
Yeah.
I called Brandon Perna last night, gave him
Yeah.
a ring. He sounded out of breath. I didn't know if he was using the new
I
I don't know if he was using the new bidet or not, but that's fine.
was rowing. I was rowing hard.
So he was working out, which was perfect because when I called him, I interrupted him watching me.
Yeah.
It seems like, Brandon Perna, we are pretty far into the E-Saga right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, see, normally here, if I'm working out and somebody calls me, I don't answer, Tom.
Yeah, makes
But
sense.
if Tom calls me, I go, okay, maybe it's important. And then,
which is a
first thought
50-50
is
mix.
always that YouTube is taking down my channel, and Tom is the one giving me the news. Like, dude, did you see? Or I said something in a video that I'm getting like just fucking roasted for, and like, man, you got to go cut that out of your episode. Those are literally, it's like Tom warning me about some giant mistake I've made. So that's why I answered, even though I was out of breath. And I'm saying there's like maybe 3 people on Earth I'm going to answer that call for. So that's why I answered. And yes, I am. Let's see here.
Pretty deep into the E-Saga.
2 hours and 20 minutes into the E-Saga. So I got about an hour and 10 minutes left.
Oh, baby.
Dude, I get recommended like so many of your videos now because I've been watching through that.
I love it.
Yeah. And I just watched Dolphin Dad. What's his name in the show? What's Dolphin Dad name? Joe. He crossed into the afterlife while him and the Jets guy were out on the beach in their comas or whatever. So yeah.
What'd you think about that episode, huh?
That was a good one. That was a good scene too. I was thinking that, and then you told me like that was a good scene, wasn't it?
Yeah. Dude, like, cause that one I remember. I was in study hall writing that, and I was like, oh, this is like this is flowing. Because I had like 2 hours of daylight as soon as I got home. So I had to drive down to the beach, like film that. And
I was like, oh man, I wish you would have feathered the edge on his.
I know. That was 2020 editing.
So well.
I know.
I wish I could have feathered his edge.
I know. Listen, that was me trying to edit back in 2020.
No, I know. It's impressive.
Do the best that we can. Ooh.
But yeah, it's been good.
Excellent. The lore is deep. Fantasy?
I don't know.
Against the Chargers?
Yeah, it's tough against the Chargers. Their defense was terrible last week. Is that who their defense is now? I don't know. Was Baker Mayfield just that good? I think Baker is a good comp for who Bo Nix kind of could be. You know?
Okay.
I don't think Bo Nix is ever going to be a perfect quarterback. And like Baker, he plays with some balls. Like, he's not scared to keep fucking throwing it. And that's the same thing with Baker. So we'll see here.
Yeah, we're streaming them. We're streaming together, am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm doing a giveaway for Broncos fans from the Denver Broncos. They're going to give away one of their lockers. It's got a Pat Surtain. I think I have a Surtain. I don't know if all of them have Surtain jerseys. Comes with a Broncos helmet. So if you're watching tomorrow, we'll do a giveaway during the live stream of one of those. And the only requirement is that you're a Broncos fan and be subscribed. I'll have Tom help me create the sheet you guys can sign up on, and then we'll do a giveaway during the stream. So
there you go.
And the lockers are freaking cool. So
can you beat Minnesota for the Division 1 seed? Yeah, I think you can. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. Like, I think that might just come down to Sunday Night Football, which is going to be an excellent football game. I also wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings split with them. You know what I mean? So I think it's possible. The Vikings, you know what, Lions fans? The truth is, you should be the biggest Green Bay mother-loving Packers fans in Week 17 as we take on the Vikings, because that might give you a little bit of a reprieve and reduce some of that anxiety. So just saying, Lions fans.
Lions got to root for the Packers.
Come on, crawling back. Looking, I'm Grossi dude.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the Bears and Vikings yet from Monday night.
Did. Oh, yeah, because I put in there, Jesus, dude. I mean, the Raiders-Falcons game was not good. But the other game wasn't much better. And like
Mm-hmm.
Sam Darnold had some amazing throws. He also had some bad throws. But
at least got a competent team on that game.
Yes. What, Caleb Williams, dude? I was asking this to Bears fans while I was watching this because I've watched, unfortunately, a good amount of Bears football this year. And comparing the full game that they had against the Packers and the way that Caleb was playing against the Vikings was night and day. And I don't mean that in a positive light.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like he didn't even want to run, right? Like he's getting the crap eaten out of him back there, right? Under constant pressure. But there's two things. One, it doesn't seem like he wants to be a mobile QB, or like he just is hesitant to run. And maybe he's just trying to save himself from injury, which makes sense. Two, he's missing guys like blatantly. Like I think I've seen like more and more clips come out, but during that game, like there's guys that are open on crosser routes that are just like gimmies for a rookie quarterback. And he's either just not seeing them, not pulling the trigger. And it's like, ooh. And this again is what you're concerned about if you're a Bears fan. Can they develop a quarterback? I have said now for years, there's nothing in that Bears organization that has proven to me that they can develop a quarterback. There's nothing. And now you're talking, they already fired their head coach. There's rumors that Pace is going to get fired. And like, you're going to start with a new GM over again. And you are just putting your rookie QB, the number 1 overall pick, through the ringer again. And listen, I think everybody can see the potential that Caleb Williams has. Whether he's going to be developed into a great quarterback remains to be seen. But good God, man, like that organization's not doing him any favors. But there is also a good amount of concern. Like after watching that game, I was like, ooh, like it could just be like late, they're out, they're eliminated from the playoffs, what have you. But it did not fill me with a ton of optimism.
No.
And again, I'm not saying he's a bust or anything like that, but that game concerned me a little bit.
Yeah, and
there you go, Blythen. There you go.
It sucks because their defense is still like respectable, you know, like they have a solid defense there, and that's what's annoying. But also, like, and I cut these two shots together in winners and losers.
Yeah.
Because there's that play where Caleb like scrambles all around, right? Nobody can tackle him, and then he hucks it downfield.
Yeah.
Just a giant incomplete pass.
Yeah.
I was like, we thought this is what Caleb's season was going to look like. And he does all those scrambling things. And then I just cut to that insane catch from Keenan Allen on the sideline. It was like, in reality, he's just running around doing like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned there's a play, and people were screen capping it on Twitter, where Caleb's is sitting here in the middle of the pocket, and there's a guy directly
right
in
there
front of him.
Yep.
And that hit home, because when Russell Wilson was struggling in 2022, there was like 3 of those screenshots. One against the Chargers, one against the Colts, and there's just a guy in the middle, and you're like, how the hell does he not see that right there? And Russ, you're like, he's too short. He can't see over the line. Caleb, he's just looking somewhere else. That's just a guy who's not confident, going through his progressions the right way. And I think, I forget who said it, but they're like, Caleb Williams is the only rookie quarterback who hasn't been developed this year. I was like, oh, fuck. That's such a terrible thing to hear if you're a Bears fan, because it's true. And the upside there is he's got the talent. It's not like, oh, God, he actually can't throw. He's not fast at the NFL level. He's not elusive.
Yes, it's none of that.
If they don't bring in the right guy, and I saw something yesterday about Mike Vrabel being like one of their top choices. And then I was like, that's cool. And then under it was like Mike Vrabel would consider Josh McDaniels for offensive coordinator. I was like,
I agree with that. I think that'd be a great selection for the Chicago Bears.
Sorry, I don't think Josh is the right guy.
I think he is. I think Josh McDaniels could really revolutionize that Bears team. I think you make him a head coach. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. My confidence pretty good for tomorrow. Broncos, Chargers. I would say 60% I think Broncos win. I do not want Buffalo round 1.
No.
I want to beat a team and feel good about it. I want the Steelers. I think the Broncos can beat the Steelers. They can beat the Chiefs. They can beat the Texans. I don't want the Ravens or the Bills.
That's fair. Dude, Arizona, they're still hanging around, man. Like they're still hanging. James Conner. I will say it's kind of like Brock Bowers, obviously not rookie, but like it's kind of like James Conner's having a good season. But Trey McBride, man, like I've mentioned in a bunch of these reaction videos too. Like, dude, like he's fantastic. And I know not a lot of people are talking about the Cardinals right now, but man, like he's really he's consistent as hell.
Yeah.
So that's a definite great thing. I'm like, okay, he's 1,000,000% that guy. There you go. FTP goes to FTV. That's it. Lions fans. Come on down. Come on down. Yeah. I saw you working with it. I saw you working. King Andrew gifting 20 memberships to one brand of Perna.
He gave 50 during the stream. That's
King
70
Andrew
memberships. 70 people are going to be pissed off. They're now members. Andrew.
Right. And King Andrew gifting 20 memberships. King Andrew second. We are not worthy. Appreciate the hell out of you, buddy. Happy holidays. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. So tomorrow night, buddy, how you feeling? Let's preview this game a little bit.
I feel good. And I like, hey, even if the Broncos don't win tomorrow, the fact that we beat the Colts, we're still, we got to win one game basically down the stretch here. But I think the Chargers is the must-win game. I do love, it's Herbert and Nix, both Oregon quarterbacks going at it.
They said Oregon. I was just like, they Oregon donors?
They love playing the Oregon. They are Oregon donors. And their favorite organ, the liver. Oh. Because it purifies. It purifies. And nobody's more pure than Bo Nix, baby.
He got Bo Lee, baby.
I learned he doesn't swear either. And
we got it. Wait a minute. So the Broncos sent you stuff. How do we leverage this to get Bo Nix on GPS?
I get him to drop an F-bomb.
Well, he might just, But we got to play the song for him. Oh my God, please.
Oh yes,
please.
What if he react?
He just sits there in silence. He's like, I gotta go, and just leaves.
Bo doesn't do a lot of interviews. He does the press conferences, but I haven't seen him, outside of that, do a ton. Maybe they're just waiting to. You were right. Bring him here to GPS.
Meh.
Dude, he was so bad last week.
Meh.
And I like Sam Howell. Sam Howell did some nice things last year. Sam Howell was making some Howitzer type throws. We're like, but he was taking a lot of sacks.
Yep.
Maybe Terry McLaurin's just that good,
Let's go. Nicely done.
But the Chargers are a tough team to figure out, and the Chargers and the Broncos are very similar, I think, in terms of where they're at. They're both. I think the Broncos, their defense is legit. The Chargers' defense has been great all season. I think for Denver, it's depth things. If somebody goes out, the Broncos' run game has sucked. I think that hurts Bo Nix when it does. If the Broncos can't get the run going, I think that's how they lose. The Chargers, if we shut down Ladd McConkey, which I think we can do, where's their production coming? We've seen Quentin Johnston have a few good games, but
it just depends on the day.
Yeah, those are, and the Chargers have two great tackles in Slater and Alt, but interior of their line, not as good. Not as good.
I will say I saw the promo that the Chargers social media team put together for Joe Alt.
I didn't see it.
The Control Alt Delete, like what they did is like Herbert, like they deleted Alt, like whoever they were, like he was blocking, and then like showing like big pass. Like it was really well done. They're just some of the best in the game. So well done. Oh, the G League for the Nuggets. Elf Team Unis. There you go.
Grand Rapids Gold. You ever tweet something and think it's really stupid and then it just blows up, Tom? I was watching that game and they showed this graphic and you're like, why the hell do the Vikings have 5 quarterbacks under contract? And I'm like, why do all these quarterbacks look like this exact same dude? But thank you guys for whatever reason gravitating towards that tweet.
There you go. There you go. Oh my God, I love it. Oh, just every now and then, just put out a banger.
I love how dumb the internet is.
It could be amazing. It could be great. Perna, what do you got coming out today, brother? What do you got?
We got the old power rankings, Tom.
Oh, the old power rankings. Oh.
And what happens at the end on the
boy.
wheel?
Oh boy.
It's never happened before, Tom. It never happened before. Like, I was cutting the rough this morning. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? So, you know.
Okay. There you go. There you go. There'll be predictions out later tonight. I realized I gotta do Patreon and YouTube members Q&A tonight also, because next Tuesday is Christmas Eve and next Wednesday is Christmas. So I'll be
You
doing
haven't done
that.
your December one yet?
No, I've not done my December one yet. A little busy, just a little bit.
Yeah, December's hard.
Yeah, I know. I'm very well now. It's 7 days a week now because Saturday football. Which, by the way, folks, Brandon Perna will also be there around 9 p.m. Eastern. But this Saturday, 11-hour charity stream. We're going to be raising money for the Rainforest Action Network. They are phenomenal charity.
Rainforest.
That's right, baby. That's right.
I'm a desert man.
That's fine. You could
want to raise money for the desert.
Well, I don't really know how many desert. Maybe
save the snakes.
There's snakes that live in the rainforest too.
Yeah, those ones are scary.
Yeah, like anacondas.
Yeah, dude.
Jennifer Lopez, she's hanging out there.
That movie's so good. Oh my God.
You
think you can get Ice Cube?
Yeah. Yeah. It
was a good day. Let's bring in Ice Cube for the fundraiser.
Let's go. Well, folks, we'll just talk about that. We're going to talk about, was that 1997, the film Anaconda? Where that's all we're going to talk about for 30 minutes. So we're going to get it. But folks, we appreciate the hell out of you. We'll be back on Friday. We'll also be streaming tomorrow night for the Broncos-Chargers game. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And you have been
on your destination.
Where?
The rainforest.
Oh. We're going to save
John Voight's here, too.
He is? Okay. He's